Let's talk about homework. You know that word, homework. Something you do at home. Going through your OneNotes at the moment, it would seem that some of you haven't completed it. Please make sure that your office365.wcc.vic.edu.au, yep, it's right here, and it's also on the school webpage under login. Make sure that that can see in your OneNotes all your work. If not, please remember you can synchronize. Right click on the OneNote and either synchronize this notebook, or I prefer to go to notebook sync status and look at everything to make sure they're all synchronized. If the whole world has come to an end and for some reason that's not working, then you can go directly to the website and type directly in there. All right, hopefully it's all working, and by the looks of all the information I can see at the moment, it would seem like most people's OneNotes are all synchronizing correctly. Just remember those two tips. Go to the website, use synchronize. Okay, homework. What am I expecting to see? I'm expecting to see from quite a while ago. In fact, holidays. I'm expecting to see a chapter 1 done. I'm expecting to see this page, which is chapter 1 of your textbook, and all of these questions answered. I'm expecting to see chapter 2 done, and this set of questions all answered. Also, some work I sent while I was at camp, well, actually not at camp, was to highlight. Realize highlighting means you color something in and you click up here, the highlight button, so that it gets colored in what the correct answer is, and to work your way through the problem solving methodology, which is something you did last year anyway, making sure that they're done. And then the next one was networks. If it's a multiple choice like this one, sure, highlight it. For the rest, type in your answer in the spaces below. Please make sure you don't do anything fancy in there. I need to be able to read it. Just please type in there. Okay, the other thing you ought to be keeping up to date is your PHP log. And it should end up looking something like this, where you're explaining to me that 1, it seems to be working. 2, you've made comments where necessary. Some pages are just HTML, so there's no PHP to comment on. And you have all the variables in there, and you've made sure you're using Hungarian notation and camel case so that they're all clearly explained. The other thing I've asked you to do, and you need to do it as soon as possible, because the SAT is going to catch up with us, which is an extended project, goes over equivalent of 2 SACs. So we started in Unit 3 and we finish it at the beginning of Unit 4, is to work out a SAT problem. What do I mean by a SAT problem? You have to find your own idea. And there's a lesson in there that explains some of that on the 10th of February in Sector. And you've already got some ideas. You know how to create forms now. So you know the sort of way you can set things up to enter data and to check the data. So you know about validation. All right, what sort of validation? There's existence. Have you typed something? There's type. We haven't made any use of that, and we'll talk about that later, but that's decide. If it's supposed to be a number, is it a number? If it's supposed to be a date, is it a date? And so forth. Is it just supposed to be text? Also, range, well, you've done that already. You've done things with age, so they're the sorts of things that ought to be part of your project. Needs to require a sort. We'll talk about how to make sorts, but you should be able to think of a problem that requires some sort of sorting. The problem also ought to talk about saving data. So there should be some information that has to be saved, later on to be retrieved, and that data sometimes has to be retrieved and changed in some way. You need to think of a problem, and on this page, you need to be now typing in your SAT description. You need to describe to me as much as possible what this project will cover. I need a clear idea. I need it so clear that I could give it to somebody else and they could try to design the solution to it. So make sure that if somebody else read it, they understand exactly what you're asking them to do. So in terms of homework, they're the things you have to do. This, for your own benefit, you need to do as soon as you can, and then we can talk about it. The other things are all due now. So Chapter 1, Chapter 2, the problem solving from TSSM, the networks from TSSM, they all should be completed and should have been completed now. The PHP log should be ongoing. That should be a record of exactly where you're at to make sure that you've got that all done. All right, thanks very much. Oh, I should also mention, I think Mr. Chapman has something called encouragement stickers. I think they're green and they go in diaries. I'll have to talk to him about how that works. All right, bye.